county jail. And up in state prison, they cull through all the guys who've been convicted, and they say, okay, he's a nonviolent offender. But they don't look at his background. They look at the crime that got him into county jail, the last crime. So you could get a child molester who's has a history of molesting kids, and he's in there for possession of cocaine.
Which has happened.
Yes,
I'm
exactly.
not wrong. It just happened where a child molester.
Here's the worst part. This guy, Tobias Summers, was an AB 109 releasee with a background that is second to none in terms of robberies and possession of explosive devices and things of that nature. Tobias Summers was released early on AB 109. He came to the valley, went to Northridge, found a little girl, 10-year-old little girl, broke into her house, committed a burglary, kidnapped her out of her home, took her to a location with a friend of his. He raped her, and then he absconded to Mexico, and we just caught him. Mm-hmm. This is AB 109 at its worst. Now, AB 109, maybe, if it was truly funded, it might have worked, because the theory is, well, we'll move them down here to county jail, and we'll get them close to the treatment programs, and they'll have more and better intense treatment. Mm-mm. They never funded it. It was DOA when it got here. If you talk to any cop on the street, he'll tell you the AB 109 is a nightmare, because the state, all they were looking to do, they weren't looking to get treatment for these offenders. That wasn't their rationale. That wasn't Mike Fuhr's rationale in writing it. His rationale was, I got to cut my budget. And just like they cut $2 billion from the education budget, they cut $1 billion from the health budget. The way that Sacramento deals with a problem is cut the budget, pass it on to the locals.
Mr. Trutanich, didn't he have a $1.6 million budget for bad settings? I mean, would you?
When he was at, he also touts that. He touts that he turned Betsetic into a national organization. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't take credit for things I don't do. If I didn't do it, I don't take credit for it. Period. Betsetic is a great organization. It does a lot of great work. But the guy who runs Betsetic right now is a guy named Samuel Sanders. Good man. He turned that organization into a national organization. He made it what it is today. When Mike Fuhr was there, it had a $1.6 million budget. When I was in private practice, my payroll for 6 months was larger than $1.6 million. He stands in front of people and he says, I've handled hundreds of cases on a $1.6 million budget. I'm sorry, but it's almost laughable, because if you really look at the facts and you look at what he's saying, and you say, you can't do that. It just doesn't add up. But he doesn't count on people checking it out. We were at a debate, and he stood up and he told the crowd that he had won this award for education. I'll tell you who the debate was in front of, and you can verify it. It was at the Irish American Bar, the Italian American Bar, and the Japanese American Bar had a debate at Casa Italiano, and you could check the tape on it. He stood up and said he got the award from the school district for this litigation that he handled.
And there was no litigation.
Oh no, there was litigation.
Oh, there was. Okay.
Yeah, because I went back and I pulled the file.
But his name wasn't on.
I pulled every single document that was filed, and his name was on none of the pleadings. This is a guy who worked for that law firm, but he wasn't involved in handling that case, but took the credit for it. At the end of the day, you just take a look at what I did. I won the the American Prosecutors Association attorney, most innovative attorney. I won it, and everybody will tell you I did that. I tried the very first environmental case in the state of California. I did it. It wasn't somebody else. It was me. I stood up in front of that jury. If I tell you I did something, I did it. The California Narcotics Officers Association, for the first time in the history of the state of California, gave me the award as the Regional Prosecutor of the Year. They've never given that to a city attorney before, but I got it in my second year as the city attorney of Los Angeles. This office, our accomplishments, we've balanced our budget every single year we've been in office, even though it's been below my payroll. I've never once had a budget more than my payroll. Never once. I haven't laid off one person since I've been there. We've worked with our budget. We went from 647 lawyers. Today we're at 470 lawyers. And we've balanced our budget. I haven't hired anybody, but we've had more successes. And outside counsel. When I started, outside counsel was $30 million, $33 million. I brought it down to $8.2 million. So I reduced the number of employees. I had a reduced budget below my payroll. I've balanced my budget every single year. We've gotten more results in terms of 92% favorable verdicts. We're safer than we've ever been. And I don't understand why he's even running for city attorney, because we haven't done anything wrong. At the end of the day, this office has never worked like it has. It's been a great office. One last thing. Of everybody who's been elected in LA, and there's 15 people on the council, there's the mayor, there's the city controller. Only one person has balanced their budget this year. Me. Last year, out of 15 people on the council, the mayor and the controller, only one person has balanced their budget. Me.
Maybe you should run for all offices.
The year before that. So in the first year, 2009, 2010, only one person, not the council, not the mayor, not the controller, me, balanced my budget. All 4 years I've been there, we've exercised fiscal restraint, we've saved the taxpayers' money, we've kept you safer, and we've done our job protecting the vulnerable, protecting the people on Skid Row from the drug dealers, protecting the homeowners. We went after the banks that were foreclosing on our properties illegally, and I'm suing 2 big banks. And we protected our pension plan. Our pension plan invested $95 million. $95 million in mortgage-backed securities. Mortgage-backed securities that went, they went into the tank. That's what caused the big recession. The banks failed. The mortgages failed. And they put our money in it. And we lost it all. Now I'm going after those banks to get our money back.
Mr. Trutanich, I want to talk about some of the endorsements, few of the people involved.
Sure.
Just to name a few: Dennis Zine, which we had a chance to talk to in our previous show, and Lee Baca. I mean, just to name a few. Would you mind
Sure, I've got, look, I don't tout my endorsements as much as my opponent does, because that's all he can talk about is his endorsements. But his endorsements and me, we all have one thing in common. Not any of his endorsements or I have ever seen him in a courtroom. My endorsements, by the way, they know me. They know who I am, and they know I could try a case. Gloria Molina endorses me. Why? Because after 25 years, I got leases for everybody at El Pueblo. Gil Cedillo endorses me, who was a state senator. Jose Huizar endorses me. He's one of my best friends on the council. He's a good man. Herb Wesson, who's the president of the council, endorses me. Bob Filibosian, former DA of L.A. County.
Former mayor of Los Angeles.
That's it. Mayor Reardon. Isidore Hall, state senator, head of the alcohol, tobacco, and permitting in that committee in Sacramento, endorses me, running for Senate. I have tremendous endorsements from people who matter, who are in L.A., who made their livelihood in L.A. Joe Buscaino from the 15th District, who I've known all my life because he's from San Pedro, endorses me. The people that endorse me are not just political people. I've only been in politics 4 years, from 2009 till now.
And you've done a lot of work for the community. You've done a lot of work for Los Angeles City.
I can tell you this: I've only been here 4 years. I don't have 20 years like I don't know Barbara Boxer or Dianne Feinstein, who he says endorses him. Well, they don't know him either. They're just political people who, because he has a D at the end of his name, they endorse him. At the end of the day, I'm an independent guy who's going to do the right thing. I'm going to stand and be independent and make sure that the city of Los Angeles does the right thing for the right reasons. I'm not going to let somebody break the law. My opponent has broken the law. He stole basically $300,000 of taxpayer money in the last election by hiding $250,000 of expenses so he could get matching funds. Well, look, if I had $300,000 more, I could have hit him with 1 million negative pieces. But I didn't have it because I chose not to steal $300,000 from the taxpayers.
You also don't need it because the credibility is there. We all see it. On behalf of Lights on LA, we would like to wish the very best for your reelection. We urge all of you to vote, because if we do want the city to, be safe, if we want all these things that Mr. Trutanich spoke about, we as citizens have to do our part also, and that is the most important thing. On May 21st, please vote for Carmen Trutanich for city attorney reelect.
Thank you so much for doing this. I'm telling you that for a guy whose dad was a cannery worker, I'm humbled to be the city attorney of L.A. My door is always open. And by one last thing, I answer every one of my emails personally. So if somebody out there is writing, wants to talk to the city attorney, you may not get a long answer because I'm awful busy. But you ask my wife at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm sitting up, she goes, "What are you doing?" I'm answering emails from people that want to talk to the city attorney.
Well, we are very honored to have you on our show. Thank you very much.
Well, again, Louise, I would love to thank you for having time and making time for us today. It has been a great pleasure, and we do wish you the best of luck. And everyone else out there, get out and start voting for Mr. Trutanich for city attorney.
Show up and vote.
Definitely, yes.
Stay tuned next week for a new episode.
This is what we're waiting for. Surprise! Միայն Kia-ն է հայտնվում այսպես անակնկալ, բարձր էներգիա, գազի մեծ խնայողություն, հարմարավետ, մատչելի, 10 տարվա եւ 100,000 մայլ գարանտիով։ Եկեք սպասելիքներով վերադարձեք տուն Kia-ով։ Սպասեք անսպասելին Glendale Kia-ում 323 222 8000